You know what horse business owners never say to me in public? I'm terrified I'll have to sell my favorite horse just to keep the lights on. They save that for the parking lot, for after the clinic, for the DM that starts with, hey, this might be weird to ask. If that's you, if you've thought, I don't know how long I can keep this up, your problem is not that you're lazy, ungrateful, or bad with money. Your problem is that your barn or your horse business is set up by default to burn you out. And the first fix is not a new side hustle, more borders, or one more lesson block. The first fix is this: you stop letting the horse business decide what you get paid. You decide what you get paid, and then we make the barn obey. If you're new to my channel, my name is Curtis Andriotti, founder of the Horse Business Profit Club. After working with over 2,000 horses and many horse businesses over the last 9 years, I created a simple, stable profit system so horse people can feel financially safe without adding more horses or more hours. When burned out horse owners get me alone, they all say different words, but it's the same confession. They say, I work all the time and still feel behind. As long as the bills are paid, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. I love the horses, but the money part is hard. I don't know how long I can keep this up. On the outside, busy arenas, full barns, pretty Instagram. On the inside, fear, resentment, and a quiet hope that maybe a rich boarder will magically appear and fix it. Here's the reframe: burnout in horse businesses is not a feeling problem, it's a math problem wearing an emotional mask. You're exhausted because your current numbers guarantee it. You're selling a way of working that requires you to be tired, underpaid, and on call 24/7. So when I talk to owners, I don't start with, here's how to run a better lesson program. Open this spreadsheet, make a color coded schedule, blah, blah, blah. That's how to, that's execution. And when you're already drowning, 17 new steps just pushes your head further underwater. Instead, I start with what has to change and why you're stuck. Then, if you want help, we can do the how together. That's burned out barn math looks like in the wild. You price board based on what everyone else charges, even though your hay, feed, shavings, and labor are higher than theirs. You're stuff less than students. You stuff less than students into whatever gaps are left after boarders, shows, and barn life, instead of building a schedule that serves you first. You discount the most draining services because they won't pay more, and then wonder why you're drained. So every month looks like this: barn gets fed, farrier gets paid, vet gets paid, employees get paid, the hay guy gets paid, and you check the bank account and tell yourself next month. That is the system. That's the default. And no amount of working harder fixes a system that's literally built to pay you last. So the first fix I give burned out horse business owners is not sexy. It's not magical marketing script. It's not a 5-figure offer. The first fix is we put your owner paycheck at the top of the barn math, not the bottom. And here's what that means conceptually. Again, notice I'm not going to tell you which cell and which spreadsheet to click. You don't need more steps. You need a different lens. First, we pick one number. What's the minimum monthly amount that would make you feel financially safe and fairly paid for what you do here? Not your dream number, not someday, but real honest, if I had this, I could breathe again number. That number is the point of the barn. Everything else is details. Second, we admit the truth about what you're actually selling. You think you sell stalls, lesson spots, training rides, bodywork sessions, but what you're actually selling is blocks of your life. Every cheap boarder, underpriced lesson, and can you squeeze me in is you selling another chunk of your energy at a discount. No wonder you're exhausted. You built a business that specializes in markdown pieces of you. Third, we look at your barn and ask a different question. Not how do I fill all these stalls in hours, but given the way my costs work, which combination of stalls and hours has any chance of paying that owner? Pay number without killing me. Here's the fix: not a Canva template, not a funnel, a decision. I will not run a barn or horse business that cannot pay me. When owners hear this, the first reaction is always guilt. But my lesson, parents, but the horse needs me. Of course they do. But your horses also need an owner who isn't one vet bill away from a breakdown. You feeling like a martyr does not pay for more hay. You collapsing doesn't help the kids in your lesson program. You quietly resenting your clients doesn't make you more generous with the horses. The first fix is permission. Permission to say, my barn exists to support me so I can support them, not the other way around. Only then do things like raising board, changing packages, or dropping a service make sense, because now we have a why. Let me give you two quick portraits. See if you recognize yourself. Barn owner A, full barn, long wait list, charges what everyone else does. Checks the bank account 3 times a week. Feels stuck and secretly thinks maybe I'm just not a numbers person. Barn owner B, similar size barn, starts by deciding I'll pay myself X dollars per month, non negotiable. Builds the schedule, pricing, and services around hitting that number with margins. Says no to anything that doesn't move that math in the right direction. Same number of stalls, same town, same horse world. Different first fix. One wakes up at 3 a.m. wondering how long they can do this. The other sleeps because the barn is designed to carry its own weight and hers. So what do you actually do after this video? I don't want you to build a dashboard tonight. I want you to do one thing. Write down on paper the minimum monthly amount that would make you feel fairly paid by your barn, and circle it. That's your line in the sand. Then next to it, write this question: if my barn can't pay this, why am I letting it burn me out? You don't have to have the answer yet. You just have to be brave enough to ask a better question. Everything we change later, pricing, schedule, offers, which clients you keep, which you lovingly release, hangs off that one decision. Burned out barn owners and horse business owners don't need more passion. You already care too much. You need a horse business that stops punishing you for caring. That starts when you stop selling more stalls and more hours and more sessions, and start selling yourself in one simple outcome: a horse business that pays me so I can keep doing this for the long haul. If you want help turning that number on your piece of paper into an actual barn plan, that's literally the first thing we do inside the Horse Business Profit Club. But whether you ever join or not, don't go back to I'll just work harder and hope. Write that number, decide you're worth it, and then start making your horse business obey that math instead of the other way around. If you thought that was helpful, if this was helpful and you want help actually putting your number into your own barn, here's what your next step. I run a private community called Horse Business Profit Club, where I walk horse business owners through this step by step with simple tools and weekly live help. You can join us today. Just click the link in the description or go to school.com/horses. Inside, you'll get the profit calculators, pricing templates, and support to earn an extra $1,000 to $3,000 a month in profit without adding more horses or more hours. And if you jump in and decide it's not for you, there's a simple 14-day money-back promise. So if you're tired of guessing and just checking the bank account, tap the link for the Horse Business Profit Club now, and I'll help you apply this to your barn.